Hello, everyone. Hello. I did a live earlier, but I think this one is way better. So make sure you can see it. This is a totally unannounced live that I'm doing. I have my
Hello,
son
everyone.
with me.
Hello. I did a live earlier, but I think this one is way better. Hello. I did a live earlier, but I think this one is way better. See it? This is a totally unannounced.
So basically what I did last night is I created a petition that I would like you all to help me sign and share. My son is here. He's going to help us too. So for all of you who are interested in representation and racial equity in the media, this petition is all major media companies stop calling our communities Latinos, Latinx, Hispanos. For the last 50 years, the media has used this to homogenize our communities who are complex, who are diverse. And this is calling for them to stop using these terms, right? For people who say, okay, then what are we? I'm not here to offer a counter homogenous term, right? That's the whole problem with it, is that they're creating a community based on colonial factors that have no consensus in our community, right? Speaking the Spanish language, grouping all the people who speak Spanish language as if that's a point of celebration is a disservice and dishonor to our ancestors who survived the genocide, where our ancestors were forced to speak Spanish. Just like our native relatives from the northern side of Abya Yala, they were forced to speak English, right? The majority of us were forced on these colonial languages, but there are still many of us who speak indigenous languages. So that in itself is bogus to use the term that way. So if you go on there, I wrote a big statement about why we are not Hispanic or Latino. Since the 1970s, Spanish language media and media executives have been using the terms Hispanic, Latino to homogenize millions of people into a Eurocentric identity that erases the complex and diverse indigenous, brown, black, and other non-white populations that comprise the majority of the so-called Latinos. This forced unity was created to exploit our massive population by creating a singular identity that encompasses millions of people. We are not a monolithic market that uniformly believe in the same political views. We are not a monolithic cultural group based on the use of the Spanish language. Many of us have been colonized by Spanish-speaking Europeans, and our ancestors were terrorized into Hispanization. Why do European languages dominate these identity markers? Many of our communities continue to speak our indigenous languages like Nahuatl, Otomi, and Mixteco. If speaking a Latin language makes us so-called Latinos, then speaking English makes us what? Britannic. Our communities deserve proper representation and an equitable media that truly honor our diversity. We are not a homogenous group of people who can be easily disposed into a palatable and Eurocentric identities. We demand that all major media networks stop using the terms Hispanic and Latino when referring to our communities and hire more of our people within their networks. Hire more brown, indigenous, black, non-white staff to truly practice racial equity within your corporations. White people who speak Spanish do not represent the majority of our community. Let me say this again. White people who speak Spanish do not represent the majority of our community. For those of you who are asking, especially if you are in the media and you're asking, then what do we call this community? Well, how about back to the basics, Mexican, Central American, and South American community, the brown community, right? The non-white community. Like, seriously, why are we being grouped into a massive umbrella just because of those factors? Are they trying to make us the other once again? Are they trying to make it easy for themselves to say, oh, just, anyone south of the border, they're all Latinos, right? What is being done to our populations and our buying power, our demographics with these terms? No one asked us for our approval of these pro-colonial terms. No one asked us for our consent to be erased. There must be equity and racial justice in all institutions that profit from designated populations. We demand that you stop using the terms Hispanic and Latino immediately. This is your opportunity to show your diverse audience that you care about community opinion. As the recent census results state, the United States is now seemingly the most racially diverse it has ever been. 30% of Native Americans were identified as quote unquote Latino. Quote, this is from the Census Bureau. The Hispanic or Latino population, which includes people of any race, was 62.1 million in 2020. The Hispanic or Latino population grew 23%, while the population that was not of Hispanic or Latino origin grew 4.3% since 2010, quote unquote. If there is an obvious increase in racial identities, then why continue to homogenize millions of people into Eurocentric identities? The homogenous terms Latino and Hispanic erase the roots and ancient identities of the majority of people who are labeled Hispanic or Latino. The term Latino is Eurocentric and racist. It centralizes whiteness. Our communities deserve better. Sincerely, Citlalli Anahuac. And this has also been endorsed. We go all the way down here. What follows is more reasons why we're not Hispanic or Latino. I give you plenty of receipts. I offer you some videos to watch where we break this down, where we're not Hispanic or Latino. This petition is being endorsed by Brown Continent with Cihuatl Nahuac, Indigenous Podcast, Karen some more. If anyone else wants to endorse this petition, message me so I can go ahead and add your name. But please, for now, sign it, share it. As far as donating to change.org, I don't recommend that you donate to them. They already make millions of dollars, but I'm using this as a page to spread the message because it has the machinery that we can use to spread the message and send the message directly to the media. This is a community voice being said, being used to create this message, letting them know that we're tired of being othered. We're tired of being homogenized. We're tired of being melted into a pot we did not consent to be put in. So no, we are not a melting pot. We are being cooked alive. This is not about, oh, we're all one unity, we're all one. No, it's not. It's not about that. It's about creating a false unity that encompasses massive numbers of people to exploit our demographics, to exploit our buying power, to exploit our uses, our resources. So I'm here. I'm inviting you all to take action. This is one way we can take action to make sure that these terms are no longer used. It's been 50 years. It's been 50 years of them homogenizing us, of them belittling us, of them minimizing our power. We are the sleeping giant. We are awakening. We are not going to allow ourselves to be treated this way. We are not going to allow ourselves to be minimized and watered down just for the convenience of other people, right? Again, a language does not define us. The fact that speaking Spanish, Spanish-speaking Europeans colonized our homelands does not define us. In the majority, we are Indigenous people. In the majority, we are Indigenous people who are forced to speak these languages and English as well, right? We have natives, relatives who are forced to speak English. And we, as Indigenous people of the southern parts of Abya Yala, were forced to speak Spanish. So this is my invitation to you to please sign this petition. Please share this petition. Please hashtag and tag media corporations, tag celebrities, tag anyone who you think can amplify this message. We must do this now. We must get them to stop homogenizing us. This is a disrespect to our communities. This is a disrespect to all of our ancestors who have fought and given their lives for our people to exist, for us to thrive. Our respect our diversity, respect our complexity. We are not, byproducts and colonial products. We are not going to be defined by colonial language that came to us through the system of genocide and white supremacy. So please, 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 let's get this message across. Let's demand that they stop. And then they're asking, what do we call you then? What do we call you? It's like, well, to begin with, why don't you ask the people who you're talking about, right? Why don't they identify other ethnic groups by these pan-ethnic terms, right? Why isn't that done, right? White people aren't called white people in the media. Why is it that anybody else of any other race is described through their race? What gives them the permission to do that? What gives them the permission to other us? If you've noticed that, that is a very, very common practice in the media, right? It is time to stop it. And again, if you don't agree that you're Indigenous, if you don't, that's fine. You don't have to agree. This petition is not telling them to call us Indigenous, right? You don't have to agree with that. That's okay. Right? But the default identity for us is not whiteness. The default identity is not Hispanic, Latino, Latinx. Just because we don't are claiming our Indigenous identity or any other nation or tribe that we belong to doesn't automatically make us white, doesn't automatically make us products and justified to be used under Hispanic and Latino. Please sign the petition. Please share the petition. Please make sure that everyone in your life knows about this petition. Our cultures are beautiful. Our cultures are diverse. Our cultures demand respect. And how do you demand respect? How do you get respect? By being given your proper names, by being given proper representation. This is an opportunity. If the media created this, the media must dismantle it. If the media pushed this into our communities, then we as a community are pushing back. And it's 50 years later, we are done with this. They must celebrate us, stop grouping us all together into a homogenous identity that we never asked to be part of. Speaking Spanish is a colonial marker. We are Indigenous people. You can say Mexican, Central American, South American. You can say the brown community, but no more, none of this Eurocentric identity, no more Eurocentric identities to define and describe populations that are in the majority non-white. Thank you so much for watching this. Please share this petition. I'm gonna put the text in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Please make your voices heard. This is an opportunity, especially after the census results. We must demand this, right? My baby agrees. All right, everybody, this is Citlalli for Mexican Excellence. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this petition. Let's make it distributed. Let's get it wide and distributed. Sign, share, create contact, tag media outlets, tag corporations. They created this. They must dismantle it. This is their doing, not our doing. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. The petition is under change.org, and I'm also going to give you the link in my video description. Thank you.